Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is Express Yourself with
The Professor.
Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself live on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is a beautiful day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have so much to be grateful to God for, as we have many persons in the countries around the world experimenting with democracy. We've had it from 1729 and a peaceful transition of administrations from that time right on up to now. The Bahamas has something extremely valuable to give to the world, and we've been sitting on it for over almost 300 years now. You must understand that there are those out there who are prepared to dig up all of the negativity. We know our own history. We have to sell our story to the world. We have to let them know, because they do not know. Anytime when there's anything negative, it flies. That which is positive, that which is good, that which is productive, doesn't get the kind of support it should have. Bahamians, it's because of God, Almighty God. It has nothing to do with any political party or any such thing. It's the way God works with us. In fact, Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, said, God lives in the Bahamas. And we need to understand why. I just found out why he said that last night. And I'm going to deal with that later on in the show. But we have a unique place in the world. And Bahamians need to understand the importance of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because, do you know, from outer space, this is the only place they could see is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Wow.
No other place on the planet. God has certainly favored us.
Amen.
And we ought to be grateful and thankful for that. And I think we're to get more blessings as we move along. But there are some things internally we have to deal with. Some things went wrong, and we have to repent of those things.
Yes.
And the difficult thing, let me tell you, the most difficult thing for a human being to do is to admit error and change.
That's true.
So we have to work on that, including Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. We all have this carnal flesh, the carnal nature in us. So we have to work with that. Now, I won't talk now because I'll go until Christ come back. But I'm going to introduce Shelley. We have some special guests in this studio today from the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We're pleased to have them, and they have something special they want to say. Miss Shelley, you can go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor, and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, we have two lovely persons there in studio with us today on Express Yourself on Global 99.5 FM. I have Charmaine Johnson and Charles Pratt from the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and they will be talking about investment and land development, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, but first we're going to start off with Charmaine. She's going to tell us, a lot of people hear about the Port Authority, and it's based in Freeport, Grand Bahama. And, welcome to Nassau. Charmaine and I were just talking about the weather and the fact that, we're expecting a cold front, and Freeport is going to get the brunt of it.
Right.
But enjoy the warm air while you're here in New Providence. But Charmaine, tell me exactly, what is the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and what is its function?
Shelley, thank you so much for having us here. It is certainly a pleasure to be here and to share with our fellow brothers and sisters in Nassau about why we are here and what we're doing. The Grand Bahama Port Authority has extended, and we are officially announcing and opening a satellite office here in Nassau, because we understand that beyond, and we appreciate foreign direct investment, but there's nothing better than investment and support of our own people. We do recognize that Nassau is our central hub for the Bahamas, the financial center. A lot of the activity that has commerce, the metropolitan areas, everything happens in Nassau, but we want to have some of that activity in the city of Freeport, and we have a wonderful opportunity to do that. And so we are here to talk about why you should come to Grand Bahama. Give us a look, check out what's going on. And I don't want to take so much of the time because I know we are limited, but I encourage all persons under the listening ear of our voices to visit Invest Grand Bahama, the GBPA Port Authority, our official website, gbpa.com. But when we talk about investment, when we talk about what is going on in the city of Freeport, we have close to $2.4 billion with a B dollars worth of investment that has started and that is ongoing. Now, I say to people, don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourselves. Go to our investment map, investgrandbahama.com, and you will see in real time, Professor Thompson and Miss Shelley, exactly what I'm talking about. You can click and see for yourselves all of the investment in real time, exactly what's going on right now. So why is that opportunity important to Nassauvians? Because outside of those major investments, we also recognize the importance of small to medium-sized businesses and what that means to building a wholesome, a community-centered and focused community. And that is why we're also here, because we understand foreign direct investment and the major businesses and the businesses, but we also want to appeal, and we've had some success already with businesses in Nassau that have extended their business to Grand Bahama Island and to the city of Freeport. And so we want to make sure that nobody is left out. We want to make sure that everybody's aware.
Charmaine, that's really interesting because in many times we hear about investments coming to Freeport, Grand Bahama, and they're usually foreign investors. And now you're saying that the Port Authority is giving local residents an opportunity to become part of the economy in terms of their investment. Does it apply? You're saying you're opening a satellite office here in New Providence. How does this impact residents here on Grand Bahama in terms of wanting to invest?
Absolutely. So again, why we are here is because we want to extend, and the opportunity was there, but we did not do such a great job of sharing that opportunity to our local people. And this is what excites both myself and Chuck. We were talking about, the importance of why we're doing what we're doing. We want to have our own people positioned and be successful the way we know that Grand Bahama can accommodate. With the infrastructure in place, we have so much space for growth and for expansion. And why not now? Some of the initiatives that we intend to embark on with our office when we are officially open is we want to have workshops. We want to engage in training initiatives and just to educate persons as to why you should consider Grand Bahama and what opportunities await you just stepping outside of that city of Nassau and taking a plane ride over and eventually setting up shop and coming to our island.
Now, I know there are certain conventions that apply to business operations in Grand Bahama with regards to the Port Authority. Will those same apply for persons who would want to invest in Grand Bahama from New Providence?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I echo all that Charmaine has said regarding the Port Authority and the opportunity that we want to bring to Nassauvians and business community especially. To answer your question, yes, it will apply, but we recognize that small and medium-sized enterprises are the drivers of the economic activity in any country. Yes. Even more so in an island chain country like ours. So we customize the approach of doing business to Grand Bahama to the business entity itself, how it can impact the economy in terms of employment, driving economic activity. So there exists that type of relationship for that business. For example, I believe if you visit our website now, there are certain types of industries that we encourage. If you're talking about energy, if you're talking about those types of businesses that are not commonplace throughout the Bahamas, those unique business, those niche markets, that's what we want to see. We want to encourage those type of businesses to grow organically. And it's always the aim, and it ought to be the aim of every small and medium-sized enterprises to grow so that you can export. We want you to export your products and or services, right? That should be our aim. Let's sell what we have, not just nationally or even regionally, but internationally. And so the opportunity that we're bringing with the satellite office is that even though we thought we've done a great job with the remote type of service, we want to add that personal touch. We want to bring that business concierge service right here in the backyard, so to speak, of the city, Nassau. so that we can see our potential investors. We can help those small and medium-sized enterprises, show them how they can branch out into the port area and Grand Bahama and grow with Grand Bahama as we grow. Now, you heard us mention that figure of $2+ billion.
Yes.
Dollars.
Yes.
Again, projects happening now in Grand Bahama. What does that mean? That means that there's a rising tide. That means that investor confidence has increased in Grand Bahama, despite of the challenges. You mentioned the cold front, and you know Grand Bahama usually gets the blunt of these storms. But despite all of our recent not so good events, investor confidence, Professor Thompson,
I believe that
is speaking up, right? The economic pendulum is on the uptick. And so now we're bringing that opportunity to Nasuvians.
Okay.
Hear ye what we say today.
Yes, I'm listening.
You know, and
Huh?
I think
I'm
it's
listening.
an excellent idea, you know, and I'm sure that the Soviets will be excited to get on that bandwagon.
Yes.
Tell me something, how soon can we see this initiative getting underway, and what can we expect to do?
All right. So on Wednesday at 6 p.m. will be the launch of the satellite office.
Okay.
So if we want to put a time start for it, that's a time. But we have been pushing this and advocating for businesses to consider Grand Bahama as an area for investment from as long as Hector was a puppy, Hatchet was hammer, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So we figure, okay, if the voices are not working, let's come and bring our physical presence.
Which is a good idea.
Let's become a part of the business community in Nassau.
Right.
Let's invest heavily in Nassau so that we can show them Jesus came
Yes.
so that those can be saved.
That's what
He
the
came
man
in person. He
That's
sat
right.
with the non-believers.
That's
And that's
right.
how we convinced them. What you say, Professor?
I agree with
Amen.
you. Amen.
So we have come.
He was crucified. Rose.
We have come.
You preaching in here.
Yeah, Professor started that.
That's a good time.
we have come to sit with the Nasuvians
Yes.
and to say, come, let's break bread and let us show you.
Let's break
Better than we
bread
can tell
together.
you what's happening in Grand Bahama.
Right. Now,
That's good.
you mentioned training. How much of that the port has to offer in terms of attracting these investors? Training and preparing persons to invest in a new market like Grand Bahama.
Excellent question, Shelley. So I just want to backtrack a bit and share about just a few minutes on two of the recent investments that we've had in Grand Bahama, actually, which is based out of Nassau. When we talk about training, when we talk about assisting, we pride ourselves in our business development office of extending a white glove service. And so what that means is everything that you need to know from the online, and you can apply, begin that process right online with getting your business license, to all of the concessions attached to establishing, because your business in our special economic zone, there are concessions attached that Bahamians have a right to, take advantage of with our bond process. And so what that is, and I'll be really quick with that part, is you get to have a special concession where you're not paying certain fees and taxes. And that is an encouragement that a lot of persons aren't aware of in establishing your presence in the city of Freeport. And that is why we're here to sell and to share and to explain and to educate on the advantages of establishing, extending, expanding your presence in the city of Freeport.
Now, let me repeat you. Nasuvians will benefit from those concessions that apply to Freeport.
Absolutely.
And just give me an idea, you mentioned the website. Give me an idea. What is the website where they can access all of this information?
So you start by going to www.gbpa.com, and we have several tabs. Click on begin your business. Once you click on that, you will see that information. You can also see information about that investment map, where and we love to talk, but I like to say show and tell, because you don't necessarily have to believe what I'm saying to you, but I want you to go and find it for yourself, because in real time you see what's going on, where we are, and how you are able to benefit from the phenomenal business ideas and businesses that are going on in Nassau.
Okay, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is doing some exciting things in terms of helping to boost the economy of Freeport. And Mr. Pratt, you also mentioned land development.
Yes.
And that is something I see you're very passionate and excited about, because that has been your forte, that has been your background with your career and so forth in terms of developing land. Tell me, what is it? And you come under DevCo. Tell me, what is it all about?
Right, great. Thank you. Yes, so you have the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the regulatory arm, and the driver of business development and foreign direct investment, local investment as well, in the port area and by extension, Grand Bahama.
Right.
Yes.
You have the predominant holder of land, which is known as the Grand Bahama Development Company in that Lucaya area or that port area, which is 230 square miles.
Wow.
We're here today to talk about opportunities, to talk about prime property, strategically located that can leverage the large anchor developments happening in Grand Bahama today.
Yes.
We're here to provide that opportunity to Nassauians,
Yes.
Bahamians nationally. Now listen,
For
now is the
affordable.
time to look for those opportunities. Don't
Okay.
wait until you hear me say prices have increased, which is coming very soon on commercial property.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
wait until you hear Carnival is ready to open July 5th next year.
Yes.
Don't wait until you hear the Weller development in its first phase alone,
Yeah.
$300 million investment in the South Central East Lucaya area. Properties in and around these large anchor developments will increase in price. That's just
Like
the natural
anything else.
cause of development. That's the natural effect. We have strategic properties that we're promoting at this event on Wednesday. You'll see more about that on TV, and if the media show up, you'll
That's
see it
both
on media.
residential and commercial.
Both residential and commercial. Residential is always available. Commercial properties, these we want to highlight because these represent high rental, high income producing properties for that matter. DEFCO will be commissioning a master replanning of its properties in and around the Carnival area. We have already received expressions of interest for people looking for commercial property. So we're glad that the investor aptitude is up there. They understand, hey, if this is happening, if $600 million is happening here, it means that property in close proximity to this $600 million investment will become valuable,
Yes, sir.
will serve the almost 2 million tourists
Yes.
coming to Grand Bahama post July of 2025
Yes, sir.
to double to 4 million post 2027, 2028.
Yes.
Imagine that number.
Yeah.
Imagine the demand for housing, warehousing, for any type of touristic related activity,
Yes.
for any
Employment.
product. Bahamians, let's become innovative. Let's grow our companies. Let's take advantage of
Yes.
these type of opportunities.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
not be behind the 8 ball. Let's not wait. Let's invest now.
Exactly. You know, a lot of Bahamians, sometimes they get left behind in these set of opportunities. And now is the time, because you're saying it's for residents. And does it also apply for international persons who would want to come to the Bahamas and invest in these properties?
Well, one thing we don't do is discriminate, right? So investment to us mean better lifestyle, economic activity
Right.
for the residents.
Yes.
That's how we benefit from FDI.
Right.
Yes.
We would want our Bahamian businesses and those who've been with us, because we have those non-Bahamian businesses that have been here and been good to us as well.
Yes.
We want them to grow. We
Yeah.
want them to become a part of the growth of Grand Bahama. So it will apply to all once they've passed the vetting, obviously.
Yes.
And we see that this investment can impact Grand Bahama, and I want to say by extension the Bahamas greatly, significantly.
Let me
And you
just-
mentioned that you're offering opportunities in terms of training, but you're also offering opportunities in terms of financing, right?
Right. So the commercial properties are not I want to say made to pay a term payment arrangement in-house. Those are just for residential.
Right.
However, at this event, we have specifically invited lenders, the financial institutions. Again, because here's an opportunity. This is all stakeholders on deck,
Yes.
Professor.
Sounds
Everyone must be here for this to work, right?
Yeah.
So you have a local investor who wants to expand his business, but he does not have all the capital.
Right.
But he has the credit history with that lender.
Yes.
And if they can buy into his vision and give him that opportunity to expand by making a facility accessible,
Yeah.
a financial facility accessible to him so he can expand that building, that development, then why not? So we need them to be along too, so that they too can get the understanding of what is happening, what Grand Bahama is all about. What we do recognize that there is some level of Not
apprehension?
well. I was going to say ignorance, but no. I
No,
won't-
no, no.
I will use.
I think it's a good word.
I won't say. I will say something more mild, like
Apprehension.
people who don't know what all is happening, the dynamics and the nuances
Yeah.
of the Grand Bahama economy.
Yeah.
And so we want lenders, we want credit unions, we want
Insurance
those
companies,
insurance companies, we
everybody.
want those type of,
Yeah.
of entities, industries to be at the meeting to understand the dynamics of what is happening in Grand Bahama. And so that is the reason for us, one, opening up the satellite office,
Mhm.
okay, and two, making sure that all and sundry are aware of the opportunities that exist.
But I think Professor wants to
Yes,
ask
I
a question.
wanted
Let's
to say
give him an
something.
opportunity.
Yeah, because see, the thing is, for the small business people, because I'm very familiar with them,
Yes.
I think they want to grow. But what I've found out over 50 years of experience, there's a lack of understanding as to
Mhm,
how
that's what I'm
things
saying.
ought to be. It's not that they don't want to do better, but sometimes those personalities who may be responsible for projecting that information to them may sort of go over their heads.
Yes, okay.
And see, when I speak on the airwaves,
Right.
I make it simple,
Yes.
basic,
Yes.
fundamental. So that woman in Baintown with those
Good
5
understanding.
boys,
Yes, sir.
and the man in Foxhill with 6 daughters, he's looking for husbands for them right now. They want to understand, and they're the kind of people I'd
Oh,
like to see. Because as you said yourself, it's for everybody.
Yes.
But if we leave out the majority of our people,
Yeah.
it doesn't. You're not
And then-
serving the
And then
first
to the
cause.
ease of doing business in the Bahamas, it's it's a lot of people become frustrated.
No, they
especially
are.
The business person.
They have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's something.
So I just want to address that, and thank you so much for that comment, Professor Thompson.
Yes, ma'am.
I mentioned earlier a white glove service, and we don't take that lightly at all.
Okay.
We pride ourselves in holding each one of our clients' hands and ensuring that they are not only educated, but they understand how to take full advantage
Yes.
of those opportunities that are for all and sundry, as Chuck said. Now, what excites, and I think you all felt Chuck's excitement already.
Oh, yes.
What excites us
Oh, yes.
even so much more is that it's not just for the foreign direct investor, it's for us
Yes.
Right.
as well. So it is our responsibility
That
to collaborate, to network, to partner with all of these different agencies.
Yeah.
I will also say that in the past, and we do have collaborations that we engage in with the Small Business Development Center. And we
Yes.
also have other private sector entities that are community based. And so we make it our business to ensure that whatever we have to share, which is good news, which are great opportunities, are not just for a specific few, but for everyone. And
Right.
again, this is why we're here. We want to ensure that nobody is left out
Yes,
and nobody
ma'am.
can say, I didn't know, I didn't hear, I didn't understand. That's why we're here.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sorry, I know we're running out of time. I just wanted to mention back to your point regarding types of training. So we have the unit known as the Invest Grand Bahama Small Business
Okay.
Unit,
Yes.
Bureau. All right. And their main focus is to increase the capacity within the small and medium sized sector enterprises,
Yes.
their businesses. So they focus on different types of incentives and initiatives they offer throughout the year, whether it's dealing in the tech space, whether it's customer service, and what have you. So that is constant, especially with the licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Another part of the benefit when you become a licensee of the Port Authority, you receive through the Invest Grand Bahama Small Business Bureau.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, so we have a contact. You said it's being officially launched this coming Wednesday.
Yes.
And where's the location? I mean, if you care to share that with us.
So for the actual launch, it's an invitation only
Right.
event for the time being. However, as we continue to expand and share information, we will have someone there who's able to address, to answer questions, to share information. Yeah, we will have a contact person in place, and that will be forthcoming.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, there's I know you all excited from Pratt walked in the door. He was
Yes.
like almost out of the room.
He's walking on cloud 10.
And it really sounds like a very exciting initiative.
I think it's
to
good.
include Nasubians. Do you plan to extend this to other family islanders as well?
All and sundry. All and
Said all and
sundry.
sundry.
The message
Yeah.
is going wide,
Right,
far
very
and
wide.
wide, right?
Mhm.
So all
Okay,
welcome to
great.
come and look at the opportunities that exist in the port area, and again by extension, Grand Bahama. We don't want to leave out the rest of Grand Bahama, but the Port Authority deals with the port area.
Right.
But rising tide raises all boats. I understand.
Right.
That's what they
Yes,
tell me,
that
right?
is true, yeah.
So that is the impact that we want to have in the Bahamas.
And Johnson, I was looking at those different divisions, subdivisions, the listing of properties that you have in Grand Bahama. Pretty interesting. You've got single and multiple family properties and so forth. And persons will perhaps would be concerned that will they be in an area where they're going to build residential and find that there's a commercial.
Well, if one thing the port area is known for is its master planning. Right? You'll be hard pressed to find, and if you do, then we deal with it as a regulator.
Right.
Yes.
But you'll be hard pressed to find a mechanic shop next to a residential home. Right. It ought not to happen.
Yes.
I don't know if I should say this word either because I know how we go. Liquor store opposite that's the church, but it all depends, right? But what I'm saying is it's a well master plan, so that lets the value appreciation for the home, for the residents.
Yes,
So it's laid out from 1955. The port area, 230 square mile, was master plan,
and that's a good emphasis.
Okay,
residents from New Providence goes,
Yeah.
the infrastructure and everything is in place.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else we'd like to add?
No, I want to ask the question now. Is the media invited?
Yes, definitely.
So we're going to have an invitation.
Yes, you do. You should have had one already, actually. All the invitations have been sent to you guys already.
Okay, all right.
The office is dealing with the invitations.
All right.
Johnson, Charmaine,
Uh-huh.
it's been a pleasure having you all here. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but it sounds like there's so much more that we can talk about with regards to what the Bahamas Port Authority is doing. We would like to have you back another time so we can talk more, because I'm too excited about what's going on in Freeport. Because when we invest in our own country, more or less the economy, we're building our own economy and helping it at the same time.
That's correct.
And I think it's an excellent idea what the Grand Bahama Port Authority is doing, and inviting persons from throughout the country to help build the economy of Freeport. And once again, I want to thank you for joining us on Express Yourself at Global 99.5, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you for having
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming. FM. It is good to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas after that exciting event we just had here in the studio. I got to take an entire week and spend in Grand Bahama so I could see all of the island, get into all the communities, and get to know the people of Grand Bahama. I have family down there, and I understand there's a large following of this show, Express Yourself in Grand Bahama. And so I'm looking forward to the time when I can meet with the people of Grand Bahama, because we have some things to do to build our country. This country has a lot of work to do. 50 years and 8 months have passed since we became an independent nation. And it is most important that we do what is necessary, what is essential to move our country forward. In fact, what we do have are many persons who are being prepared in all areas of life, well-qualified persons in their respective fields. New people, as Dr. Miles Monroe talked about. He himself came from Baintown. He was from one of those classes mentioned in 1 Corinthians 1, 24 to 31. And you're going to see new people surfacing who have new ideas, new ways of doing things. We're going to have to make some changes in our system, in our country. And we need to work hard because we have already lost 50 years and 8 months. And so it is most important that we take our country very seriously. After hearing what the Grand Bahama Port Authority people just said about the investments, about business, about progress, particularly for the small business people, and small businesses are the engines that run the economy of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, so they have a role to play in the expanding and building of our country. So we must make sure that they don't get left out in whatever is happening in Grand Bahama. So they're going to have a launch, and I want to be there, of course, with permission of management. But the thing is that we have to be aware of what is going on. And as the gentleman said, don't wait for the last minute. But particularly with small businesses, I told him that from what I've seen over 50 years of experience, those personalities responsible for disseminating the information, most of the time, small businesses may not get it at the outset. And I said to him that it is most important that it be explained in simple, basic, fundamental language to the woman in Baintown who got 5 boys while she's fixing the lunch or fixing dinner or fixing supper, and the man in Fox Hill who has 6 daughters, he's looking for husbands for them, and the woman in Engliston, I forgot the woman in Engliston, who has 3 disabled children. They also must have an opportunity to participate in investment. They have a future, and every single Bahamian has a future in their country. So we cannot afford to leave any of them out when there's investment. When there are benefits, all should benefit. And as they told us, they're leaving the door wide open so everybody can get in. And I'm sure that you out there are going to be working at it. Now, the lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272. And we're going to take your calls in. Make sure you call early, because don't mind me, I could talk till the man come back. The thing is that we have serious issues that affect the country. The country is in deep trouble. But God Almighty, who gave us this place, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for Bahamians, He also set the boundaries for all other nations on the planet. He placed those boundaries there. And a lot of you need to understand that. So when God gave you the boundaries for your nation, that is where you're supposed to be. And so it's most important that we recognize that all of us can benefit if we help our own country, if we help our own people. The Bahamas for Bahamians, Haiti for Haitians, Jamaica for Jamaicans, Panama and those other places like that for the Panamanians, and so on. That is how it's set up. And it was not by accident. It was by God's design, the way how the nations are set up now. And there have been all kinds of problems. You look at what's happening in Haiti today, the tremendous level of violence, where people are leaving, jumping on boats, coming, well, trying to get to the Bahamas. Of course, the Dominican Republic shares the same island with them. How many of them are trying to get there, I don't know. But a lot of lives have been lost in the waters. We don't know how many, but plenty are dead. They've drowned. The boats are packed, crammed like sardines in a can. And they fall overboard. They can stop to see who it was. They just die. And that's sad. Now, there's something the Bahamas could do to help Haiti. We have an example that has been set, but the world does not teach that to the world. We have to do it. We know our history. We know what we feel. We know our experience. I've always lived in a democratic system. I've always had freedom of expression, freedom to impart ideas and opinions, freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, all of these entrenched rights, freedoms, privileges that are in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. You know how many nations are fighting just for one? Freedom of movement, freedom to broadcast. We have so many benefits in this country. We have to take advantage of those benefits. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't complain about issues that affect you. Yes, you should. But now, what are you going to do about those problems? We got some serious internal problems, but we don't want it to get the way it is in Haiti. We sympathize with them, but as the Prime Minister said, we can't take any more. He didn't sign that summit with all the other nations, and that was a good thing on his part. We appreciate that. But there is something the Bahamas can offer the people of Haiti. Now, they said they want to have a Haitian-led solution. Fine. I got no problem with that. Remember now, they became independent in 1804 after crushing the French. The Haitians gave them a terrible cut-up, and many French soldiers died. They were slaughtered. Tremendous bloodshed. In the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, our situation is totally different from theirs. And I get very upset when I hear people comparing the Bahamas with Haiti. You have two different types of people, two different characters, under two different masters. We under the British, they under the French. And we had freed Africans who came here, who were caught on the high seas, taken by the British, brought to these islands, and they were free. They were never slaves. I'm going to have a special guest to come on to explain all of that to you. But let me just say this. There is much that we have to be grateful to God for. Dr. Miles Monroe always said, God lives in the Bahamas. Do you know why he said that? Do you believe that God lives in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? This man has been all over the world, virtually in every nation. Been traveling up to the very last day of his life. Was going into Grand Bahama when the accident occurred. He's a world traveler, but he came from Bain Town. Who would have thought that an average, ordinary Bahamian would have such an impact worldwide? We as Bahamians didn't really appreciate him the way we ought to. But the world did. Many nations around the world appreciated Dr. Miles Monroe more than we did. He would come in, you say, oh, that's just Dr. Monroe. But people lined up for miles just to see him, just to talk to him, just to have their book or something signed by him. That's how much they appreciated him. And he also met with world leaders in these different nations. So here's a Bahamian from Bain Town who had a tremendous global impact. This nation is destined to have global impact on the world. And it's not because of anything the world has done for us, it's because of God. Our Constitution says we are a nation under God. God has kept us, and God has his eyes on the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. He lives in the Bahamas. And the only place you can see from outer space is the Bahamas. Isn't that amazing? Out of all the nations on the planet, they only can see the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Bahamians, there is something unique about us as Bahamians. We need to wake up, Bahamians. God has providentially set us where we are today. It was not by no mistake. It was not by any accident. It was purposely planned by God Almighty himself to bring us here, to place us here. And we can't just accept any and everybody coming in here. That's why the Prime Minister said he didn't sign it. Of which many things that they signed, they didn't sign. Because anything that's detrimental to the Bahamian people is not good for us. We cannot be so concerned about what's happening in somebody else's territory to the detriment of the Bahamian people. I was talking to a host on another show, and he was trying to tell me about Caracal. I asked that host, did you read Article 2 of our Constitution? I think we have a caller. See, the caller had to stop me because I could talk till Christ come back. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Thompson.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Man, rating, man. You talking about Haiti today?
Yes, I'm going to open the lines up today because
Okay.
listening, but we got the people who were here early in the show from Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell my people now I got to spend a whole week down there in Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
And so something special I'm going to announce today on the show.
I can stay tuned.
Yeah, please stay tuned because it's
Well,
important. They told me they love Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson.
I tell you, you number one, man.
Well, let me put it this way. I tell them I cannot do this by myself. It takes the collective will of a people to make this country grow, and all of the country. And we want to see things all over the country. We want to see participation in every area, every island, every key, every rock. Go ahead, caller.
Okay. You know, while all the eyes is on Haiti, all different nations hearing and seeing what is taking place in Haiti, because they allow some gang leaders, when the gang leaders overpower the government, the country is doomed. When you allow that,
yes,
this barbecue man and whoever, these fellas, they know the system. Haiti problem, Haiti got to deal with that.
That's true. That's correct.
You could pray much as you want to pray. God say, I have already give you the land. I have given it to you all.
Yes, he did.
I give you all the brain to think.
Yes.
Wisdom. But because they allow themselves, they're fighting against one another themselves.
Yes.
The rich are gaining riches and never can pass nothing down to the poor.
You're right,
That's
caller.
the reason why they like how they is today. Haiti problem is they're fighting their own self, and that's why no tourists going there. They're unstable, and if barbecue them don't like who they put there to run the country, it's still gonna be a problem.
Caller,
You see?
caller,
So-
let me just say this, and I can let you stay on the line. Don't go nowhere yet. I want to talk to you some more. Haiti became an independent nation 1804. We became an independent July the 10th, 1973. We're 50 years and 8 months. We cannot be so absorbed into the conditions in somebody else's territory to the detriment of the Bahamian people. I believe at this stage of the game, our leaders who were elected and appointed by the Bahamian people are overlooking things in our own country. We've got to take care of the Bahamian people, their concerns, their needs, their interests as we move forward as a nation. Go ahead, caller.
See, my last point. See, a lot of people don't understand. When God is moved out of any nation, the Bible tell you,
Yes.
except the Lord build a house, everything
labor
will
it
be
in
in vain.
You're quite right.
Everything will be in vain. You
That's
see,
right.
when there's more of wickedness that is overpowering grace, what more you expect?
Yes, sir.
What more you expect? And I thank God for this Bahamas that
Oh, yes.
we still have people that are praying. All
Yes.
ain't joking, you know.
Yes.
We still have people that are praying. Still have people who have the fear for God.
Yes.
When you could see a leader at that time, the leader of Haiti at that time, give Haiti the right to practice voodoo and obeah and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, that's why they are steep. They are marinating these things, and now they calling on God to get them out of this situation. But until they truly turn themselves to God, that that nation could be better. We
Yes.
can't do nothing much.
There is
Thank-
something we can do for
thank-
Haiti. Yeah, thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a good call. And the caller is correct on all points. Unfortunately, they have turned to other gods. They've turned away from God, if they ever had God in their knowledge. Because when you read Romans 1, it says, because they refuse to retain God in their knowledge. When you go after false gods and you reject Jesus Christ, you reject God the Father, you reject God's Holy Spirit, what do you expect? And that is what has happened to the Haitian people. Now you have some who are here praying for Haiti and all of that, but there is more to it than that. That's your territory. That's your country. You need to go back home and help them because they said they want a Haitian-led solution. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we in the Bahamas can assist them. And let me tell you how. From 1729, when the House of Assembly happened in September, which is my birth month, by the way. From 1729 right on up to this very day, the only nation on the planet that has had successive transmissions of administrations in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas without shedding one single drop of human blood. Do you know how important that is, Bahamians? The world does not stress that. We need to stress it. That's a positive thing for this country. Do not let anybody to make you believe the way you get rid of your leaders is you kill them. Every single one of them over there had to run for their lives. Our former leaders don't have to run. They did some things that are not right. But we can deal with that, Bahamians. We have rock solid stability as far as transition of administrations in this country. There's no country, not even the United States has it. They just kill their own people. We don't do that. See, I tell you, there's something about the Bahamian people. And do not let anyone who is a stranger, foreign, an alien, outsider, try to drag your country into the ground. You didn't have international community stress that point. They don't talk about the peaceful transitions of administrations when they make their report. Check the reports and see if you see it there. They want to talk about things that are negative, to paint the country in a negative light. And we have some very strong positive things that happen in the country. We have more tourists coming in here now than ever before. I live in an area where we are flooded with tourists every living day. They're coming in big numbers. The older citizens, the middle-aged, the teenagers, the children, even in the little babies and all, they have large numbers of tourists entering the Bahamas. And that's a positive thing. That's where we could make some money. We don't want it to be where they got to be ducking and dodging bullets. That is not the Bahamian attitude. We're a peace-loving, God-fearing people. And we don't want anyone to come and take advantage of us. And our leaders need to understand your responsibility. The elected and appointed ones are to the Bahamian people, lock, stock, and barrel. That's why I told the host of that show, did you read Article 2? He wanted to tell me about CARICOM. I say, listen, we have the supreme law of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Anything that is out there cannot trump that. Because sometimes we forget, Any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall prevail, and the other law, to the extent of its consistency, shall be null and void. Do we understand how important that is? We are signing this, signing that, signing the next thing. We need a national government that can solve problems, not sign the country away to strangers and foreigners and aliens and outsiders. We need a national government that's going to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. That's your sworn duty. And if you can't do it, just step aside. Or we will ask you to step aside and replace you with somebody else who can do it. We have a budding group of highly qualified citizens that God is raising up. He's raising up an army. I met two of them this morning who had an appointment to see someone in the administration. And they have a contribution to make. They're genuine. Notice what I said now. They are genuine Bahamians who are going to make an impact in this country. That's what we need now. We need persons who love the Bahamas, patriotic Bahamian citizens. You feel you're patriotic, then come forward. Now, I ain't talking about them people who got paper by fraud. They ain't no Bahamian. I don't want no one sitting next to me who's a fraudster. Because I might tell you something you won't like. How could you talk about this fella is a Bahamian? He got a piece of paper in his hand where somebody signed something, say he's a Bahamian? And you're making him equal with me? And I supposed to sit back and accept that kind of crap? The answer is no. It cannot be that way. It must not be that way. And Bahamians, you have to stand up and fight it. Because they are those who are misguided, deceived, and are misleading the Bahamian people. What are you going to do about it? 50 years and 8 months. We've been zagging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and the Constitution is right there. The supreme law is right there. But the people say they want to run things. You know what I mean? Groups of Hood, they want to run this country. They want to be the leaders in this country and don't know a single thing about the supreme law of this country. They are completely lack of understanding. I don't want to use another word. Because, see, I am going to know. I'm in a position to know. And this is no time to be playing games with the lives of the Bahamian people. They have suffered long enough. We have lost some needlessly. We cannot afford to lose any more. We have to protect and help those who do not understand. That's why I come on this radio every day. And I'll be here all this week, Monday to Friday, for those who had any doubts. Professor will be here. When you hear me say that, that's the way it is. I don't have time to be playing games. I want to be upfront and honest with the Bahamian people to tell them the truth. The truth is what sets you free, not lies and hypocrisy and deceit. And that's the kind of leaders we need today, who will be honest, upfront, and tell the people the way it is. And here's another thing. The hardest thing for a human being to do is to admit error and change. Do you see any of those who had the authority doing that say, yes, we made a tragic mistake? We made a dumb mistake. We did some things that were wrong. Have you had any of our leaders tell you that? And I can let you answer that. But I'm asking the question. I put it out there. You could call in and answer it as you understand. But I know one thing. We've had some terrible things that have happened internally, in spite of the fact that we've had peaceful transition from one administration to the next, from 1729, all the way back then, right on up to this day as I speak to you. And no other country in this Western Hemisphere has had that kind of record. And we have sat on it for almost 300 years and didn't use it to our advantage. We have allowed others to put a lot of foolishness and nonsense in our head and grading us and telling us we're this, we're that, we're number 10, we're number 11. Based on what? On their ratings? On the way how they view you? Is that what you're going to accept? They don't know our history the way we do. And I don't want no one who is a foreigner, stranger, an alien, an outsider to tell me about the Bahamas. I know it better than all of them put together. I've lived it. They live in these broke-up countries where they're fighting and killing and knifing and shooting down one another every living day, burning up the place. And then 6 months and 8 months down the road, they want you to rebuild the place after they done burn it down. Putting necklace around people's neck in the middle of the street and lighting them afire. That's not Bahamian attitude. We don't live like that. That's not us. That's from somewhere else, Bahamians. And don't let no one mislead you and deceive you. We got to go to a break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson live on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. The line's open 3260271, 3260272. Bahamians, let's get on and build the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We'll be back after the break. FM. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Many can't say that, you know. They're in their territory God gave them. But they cannot say it's the great day in their country because they are racked with violence and wickedness and corruption. All kind of terrible things happening. We have an opportunity to assist and help all of them right from the Bahamas. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Professor Thompson.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Pretty good, you know, pretty good.
Yes,
I heard
ma'am.
your guest out of Grand Bahama talking about investment opportunities down
Yes.
there.
That's good.
And I certainly hope they manage to take that product to the world.
Yes.
Because when I worked for Mr. St. George, my focus was marketing.
Yes,
And there
ma'am.
wasn't a boat show or investment show in the Florida area that we didn't attend. And so in order to keep the Bahamas in the minds of investors, you know, there's always a new crew who just got rich. And there's
Yes.
always an old crew, rich folks who just passed away.
Yes.
So you have to keep your product out there and constantly mentioning it so that the children who inherited the money will know where to come.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Yeah, we're not doing our part in marketing. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm
you're
glad
quite
that
right.
they came to New Providence with the product because every Bahamian child is encouraged by their parents to get a piece of land.
Yes.
And Grand Bahama is an affordable land opportunity. It has all the infrastructure. It's beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
I came up here 20 years ago really to do a deal for Grand Bahama, but 2 hurricanes later and a lot of missed bad calls. It
Yes.
didn't make sense to go there in a non-functioning economy.
Yes, ma'am.
But God is on the throne. God
He
is on the
certainly
throne.
is.
I was also encouraged to call when you started talking about this democracy that we enjoy here,
Yes, we do.
because when the Haitian people were at their loudest and most violent, I heard Bahamians saying, like, that's what's wrong with the Bahamas. We are so passive. That is absolute nonsense.
Absolute
We
point.
ain't no more passive than no other people in the world. We just have better sense. When you
Yes.
start breaking up the windows downtown, you're out of business,
That's
idiot.
right.
We have better sense. We ain't burning it down because we ain't wasting the time to build it back. We're in business.
Yes.
When those cruise ships come with them thousands of people, they don't want to hear who don't like who and the F&M and the PLP. They could care less.
They don't.
They want to know what can they take back for their $200 card limit.
That's right.
And almost every Bahamian sees themselves as an extension of that enterprise. We facilitate tourism. And until we come up with something else, that's what readers do.
Yes.
And have better sense than to break it down like them other stupid people. Break down the place, burn down the place, rape one another, kill one another. Then what do you have
Yes.
other than
nothing.
disease and garbage?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't admire them at all. As a matter of fact, I wish to make a very clear distinction that the people of the Bahamas, they're very Christian.
Yes, they are.
The very disciplined
Yes.
people of the Bahamas who have been doing this from the 1700s. Our democracy is older than America's.
Yes.
We've been doing a better job of it than them, but we can pray for them. Because we need their people to continue to trade with us, and we're praying for them to have greater prosperity so they can spend more.
Yes, ma'am.
But I also, too, Professor, wanted to touch on the absurdity that I heard the minister of, what is he minister of now? Minister Alfred says. I'm not sure what all of his portfolios
Immigration.
is.
Immigration.
Immigration, and he has national insurance as well.
National insurance. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a great tie between the two, although we were never shown it, you know. That man that you had on last week, the former ambassador, Williams.
Yes. Williams. Yes.
Man, the Holy Ghost had him starting to talk. And for people who could hear, I mean, really hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, he outlined the problem, and the Lord started showing me what is the solution. He said his biggest job in Haiti was the distribution of national insurance funds to thousands of Haitians.
Thousands of Haitians, yes, he said.
Yeah,
that.
well, this national insurance fund was not designed to take care of other nations and their problems.
Yes.
So we need to make adjustments to the fund and how it operates. It has to be that when Bahamians deposit and contribute to their national insurance funds, that those funds are used for Bahamians. In other words, while you are a resident in this particular area, the Bahamas, you may benefit, you may participate. When you leave, we can, what
How
kind of
could we keep
nonsense is
supporting
that?
you? Yeah, it's foolishness.
You have a fund that the bulk of it is going to another country? How did that happen?
Yes, that's serious. That's very serious.
Because I could tell you, Brother Sidney, when you leave America, ain't nobody looking for you to give you nothing.
That's
You have to be there.
Right.
So we either made an error in the establishment of it or need urgently to correct that flaw. It cannot be that millions of dollars is going out every month to another country. Something wrong with that, Brother Thompson?
Something's wrong with that. And let
We
me
couldn't
say,
be that stupid.
that is why I am saying every single law that has been passed over the last 50 years and 8 months from July
We need to look at it.
1973, everything must be examined in light of the Constitution.
Exactly.
Every law, every existing law from 1729 up to July the 9th, 1973 must be looked at in light of the new Constitution, July the 10th, 1973.
I don't know if you saw it, but the Attorney General, he's out again saying about the citizenship bill.
Oh, I
that
heard
he
about
didn't
that.
get the memo that the Constitution cannot be altered by statute law. You're not going to change anything with your
cannot
stupid
change anything.
citizenship bill.
That's correct.
You got to have a date of referendum where we'll be happy to come down and tell you no again.
That's
It's
what
not
you'll
a
have to tell
problem.
him. He will be told that. And there's absolutely, those articles are so entrenched. The
Yes.
only way you can change them is through a referendum. All of them.
You hear that word you use, Brother Thompson? Entrenched.
Yes.
Now,
Entrenched
perhaps that is
provisions.
only a fixture of British law because the young man was trained in U.S. law. He's an American-trained attorney. And I remember his specialty was banking because he left his representative area, which was Elizabeth, and went to work with some bank.
Yes,
you remember
he did.
that?
Yes, I remember
He was
that quite
already
well.
elected.
Now he's
You
back
remember that?
again.
Now
Yeah.
he's back again.
Yeah, back
with
again.
a new set of troubles and a poor understanding of the system that we are under. In 1973, when we came up with those articles,
Yes, ma'am.
that was the agreement.
Yes, it
we
was.
have not covenanted
still
to do
is.
anything different,
And still is the agreement.
and ain't changing.
And ain't nothing changing.
Jesus would have to come and say, now you all need to adjust this right here. Because we are stuck on no when it comes to that document.
That is why
Yeah.
I was speaking, Lady Russell, I was speaking to a host on another show today, and he was telling me all this shigmarole over CARICOM. I said, did you read Article 2 of the Supreme Law of the Land? That's all I asked him. I wasn't interested in all that other nonsense he was talking about.
He won't tell you about how
He won't tell me
goes.
about them. I say, no. Did you read Article 2 of your Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Yes
Tell us
or
what
no?
Article
Do
2
you
says.
understand it?
Tell us what Article 2 says there.
I want him to go read it for himself. He's supposed to be educated. Huh?
Yeah, well, most of them have never seen the document.
That may be so.
Yeah.
But I will explain it.
Yeah. What I would like to talk on, perhaps as soon as tomorrow,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that 300,000 applicants that the Minister of National Insurance and Immigration mentioned
Yes.
in the House of Assembly. I believe the Holy Ghost had him to say that.
Yes, ma'am.
Brother Thompson, for 300,000 people, foreign, to have gone up on Hawkins Hill and applied, and the application form says in person, it could not have happened. We have a minimal staff of the, you know how much is 300,000?
That's a whole lot. That's more than the population.
all the way down to South Beach and up through Lightfoot Key and back.
Plenty laps. Yes.
And so sometimes people are saying things and they think that they're talking. I don't know who they think they're talking to. But at Thompson, I've been all over the world, and I choose to be right here. It's the most beautiful place on the planet, especially for people of color.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you was a Caucasian and you have blonde hair, and you go anywhere in the world, it's not a problem. But for people of color, this is paradise.
Yes, ma'am.
You are more than equal. You are in charge in
That's
the
right.
Bahamas.
Amen.
It's our country, and we ain't giving it up.
For
And
nobody.
we ain't allow some greedy people, because Brother Thompson only weighed 300,000 applications could have been in that building. It couldn't come through the door.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
queue would have been too long. And
Yes.
it's been long for years.
Yes, ma'am.
You remember seeing any long line
No,
out
I
there
ain't
on
seen none.
Officer?
I never saw
I-
any.
I used to live right up there with the library lady. I never see no line.
Yeah, you were right in that area.
Yes, remember when I first did. Never saw any long lines. So
Yes, ma'am.
these 300,000 applicants, perhaps some of the people who now claiming to be consultants, maybe they brought them in a briefcase, which
Maybe
is
they
against
did.
the law,
Yes.
a violation of the process. It says you must in person
Yes.
apply.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you applied in person, we got a problem. We got a problem. We don't have 300,000 jobs in this country,
No,
period.
we don't.
Not even for Bahamians.
That's
We
correct.
don't have space in our schools for 300,000 people coming with their whatever
Yes, ma'am.
attachments. We don't have space in our hospitals for 300,000 folks. You see why all of a sudden this becomes a huge
ma'am.
no? Absolutely not. Are you kidding? We don't have the housing. So I don't know what spirits possess the good minister to bring it up, but I'm thinking it's God letting us know that if y'all don't pay close attention, whoever is facilitating that 300,000 applicant conversation is
Yes, ma'am.
conspiring and colluding to the genocide of your entire nation,
That's
because
correct.
everything about your life, you'll be waiting a week to get from Nassau to Grand Bahama. If 300,000 people showed up here,
Yes, ma'am.
how you when the plane? What day you will see the doctor? What day you can get a reservation? We are simply not equipped, and so until we begin to understand what we have, how we're going to manage it for future generations of Bahamians,
Yes, ma'am.
not giving a hoot about your mismanaged country with all broke up. It's your business. You need to go
That's
sort
right.
it out.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
someone was telling me today that the Americans are participating in imperialism and they do stuff like that. But you think I want my son harmed, arguing with Joe Biden them and their imperialistic policies in Haiti?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
the Haitian people argument.
Well,
And the beautiful thing about them is they're perfectly willing to die. So I suspect at some point they're going to win.
yes,
But
ma'am.
it's not our fight.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your
God bless you,
contribution.
Brother Thompson.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Okay, all right. That was a good contribution from that caller. And Bahamians, there's a lot to think about. In fact, I want to introduce something on the show, I think this coming Friday, which will be open line on Friday. And do we have a caller, Mr. Producer? Caller, you live on air. Go ahead. Caller? Okay. Oh, I thought I saw a signal. Let me just say this to you right now. You see how important it is for the Constitution? I've been talking about the Constitution for almost 50 years now, from day one. And I'm not budging one iota. It's important that the Bahamian people know that document like the palm of your hand. Because we have been sending people to do our national affairs who don't understand this document, don't know it. We have to fix that. Now, I'm going to ask you, say you love Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. That's fine. That's good. You say continue doing what you're doing, but Bahamians, I need your support. Now, starting Friday, I want to be able to have some people out there to send in prizes. Well, before Friday, anyhow. I want to ask a constitutional question, one or two, on Friday for a prize. Now, the prizes could be monetary, and I'm going to tell you how to send the prizes in. When you call the radio station, you will just give your name and your number to say, this is for Professor Thompson. I want to donate a prize for the show, which we're going to be having starting Friday. I want to give out prizes because I want people to have the incentive to understand the importance of this Constitution. This is our salvation document. And I will throw out the questions. And I will see whether we can get anyone to answer the question, and the person who answers the question correctly will have a prize. Now I'm going to give out 2 numbers. I told you the numbers were off, and I appreciate those who've been sending me those emails. Please continue to send your name, your contacts, your full name, your address, your constituency, where you live, your phone numbers. Put that all on the email, because I'm calling every single one of those persons who sent an email to me, SydneyMThompson@hotmail.com. I need that information. Very, very important. Now, I apologize for the delay. I know some of you send them in. My team is organizing it, putting it together, and we had some delays. So please be patient with me. Now, I am appealing to you from all over the Bahamas, whether you live in Abaco, whether you live in Grand Bahama, whether you live in New Providence. Now, I'm going to give you 2 numbers. And these numbers are national affairs numbers. You can get me through those numbers. The numbers are 465-5786. 465-5786. And the other number, 325-8652. 325-8652. I've been testing these numbers, and it seems like the numbers are working very well. So you'll be able to get me. And at the studio, of course, you can call the studio numbers here. Okay? 326-0271, 326-0272. And just leave your name and number and say, I want to donate a prize for the show. We're going to have to give an incentive to our Bahamians. Cash prize, yes, we want to do that too. You may have some barbers may want to donate a week of cutting people's hair. The restaurants may want to donate a prize, dinner for 2 on a given day, as the case may be. But we're going to need your participation, because I want the people to know this document. It's our salvation document. I want the interest to be heightened. We have some serious, serious problems in this country, Bahamians. You heard what the last caller said. And you heard what the caller who may call last week, Friday, I think it was, when the caller called in and asked a very good constitutional question. And I started answering. I finished answering that, There's more to it than that. I started when I told you about St. Barnabas Church and BTC. That was only the beginning. And then when I started talking about party representation and parliamentary representation, that's only the beginning. This thing has to be explained in simple, basic, fundamental language, so you can know it very well. Because Bahamians, we have some serious issues to deal with. Now, you can start calling in today. And don't call me till after the show now on the numbers that I gave you outside of the studio. I got one of the numbers on me, but I don't want you to call that number now. But wait till after the show, then you can call. But you can call the station. And you can give it to the producer, say, this is my name and my contact. Give that to Professor Thompson. And then I'll tell you where to send those prizes and how we're going to deal with it. You'll be told that confidentially. So the thing is, Bahamians, we've got to move quickly. We don't have much time, We have a very limited time to save this country. And there are people trying to break it up. They want you to have a broke-up country. They want you to get mad and break up the place. You don't like this one, you don't like that one. We may have a disagreement with an MP. We may have a disagreement with the government. Nothing wrong with that. But we ain't going to be like some other people who got machete and want to chop them up. Or put them in the middle of the street and put necklaces around them and light them a fire. That's not Bahamian. So don't let no one talk no crap in your ears and say that's Bahamian, because it never was. I see all kind of people walking up and down in my area. They ain't no Bahamians. Where do they come from? An immigration need to come and check these areas out. Strange males. And every time you see them, more males than females. That has been their modus operandi. I hope I got it right. Even sometimes they get a little mixed up. But Bahamians, this is important. We have a beautiful country. God gave the Bahamas for Bahamians. He gave Haiti for Haitians. He gave Jamaica for Jamaicans. Cuba for Cubans. And the United States, them fellas over there, child, please. What they call the bastion of democracy. And some people were slaughtered when they had that uprising in Washington. We don't behave like that. That's not Bahamian. Now, we may want to have a demonstration. You should allow them to demonstrate. That's constitutional. But you ain't got to come out with no gun. You ain't got to come out with no machete. We know how to do it. Those people do not know. We have lived it, experienced it all of my life. From the time I was born right up to now. I've experienced a free and sovereign nation. We have plenty of benefits. We have to use it, Bahamians. We can't let others take this place from us with their foolishness and their nonsense. And speaking a funny language too. Come on, Bahamians. If you want to be Bahamian, you should speak English. What you coming here for with this foreign? God warned the people. Beware of those. A nation with a strange tongue you cannot understand. You don't know them. Their ways you don't know. You don't tamper around with them kind of people. You stay away from them. God told the children of Israel to do it. We think we know better than God. Oh, we can handle them. This one got one language. This one got one language. Next one got one language. A country full of all kinds of languages. And you don't know what they are saying, Bahamians. You don't know. I don't even care to know. But they don't have to be here in the first place. If you want to be a Bahamian citizen, you adopted a Bahamian way of life. That's what you do. You know, you might come from another place, but you want to bring all them bad characteristics in here. We got enough of our own. And that's why Bahamians are upset with those who've been given the authority, because they believe, and I believe it too, that we're being overlooked. We're so wrapped up in dealing with other people's affairs. We have forgotten the Bahamians. And the area I live. The representative ought to know what's happening. Don't forget Article 52(1) of your Constitution. Parliament may pass laws, 3 specific clear-cut ingredients in that law. And if it don't have those 3, it ain't no law. It's unconstitutional. Do you know that, Bahamians? That's why I am saying right now, every single thing that has been passed from July the 10th, 1973, every single law, every single agreement, every single treaty, you got to find the Bahamians, and everything has to be examined line by line, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph. Is it constitutionally sound, yes or no? That's how you know, Bahamians. You cannot take their word for anything. You try to say you have confidence in them, but people tell lies too much. So we have to have the evidence. We have to have the proof to examine it and see what it says, so we could say precisely and exactly what they wrote. That's how I have my team trained. And I've been trained that way too, to examine every single detail, Bahamians. The Constitution, if we run things according to this Constitution in the Commonwealth of Bahamas, every single problem would be solved. And you have the Holy Bible. Those two go together because we're a nation under God. You don't have God in your national affairs? You want to put God out for the UN? You want to put God out for the United States? You think they'd protect us, eh? You got people who want to use you and take advantage of you, but they say they want to have friendly relations. I just smile when I hear that. We have to put our trust in God. Rely on God. It is God who has kept the Bahamas, and he will keep it until Christ comes back. And I know some of you are afraid, oh, what's happened in Haiti, that could destabilize the whole Caribbean. That's what they tell you. Is that true or false? I know Haiti is destabilized. I know that for a fact. They had independence from 1804, and they still ain't straight yet. But they say they want a Haitian-led solution. Well, fine. Do it. Don't just talk it, do it. We in the Bahamas do it. We've been doing it from 1729, right on up to now. Passing from one administration to the next without firing one single shot. You can tell me, people talking foolishness in my ears. I hear nothing from the international community. Have that in their report. Check every one of them and see it for yourself. But they won't talk bad about the Bahamian people and talk about us in a negative light. We have our share of problems. I'm not disputing that. But we could manage them, Bahamians. Let's be sensible. Let's be reasonable. God says, come now and let us reason together. Not later on. Right now, today. On this day. We'll be back after the break. I hear the music. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Let's get this country correctly established.
Of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
We're back. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Did you have a demand? Just say, express yourself and speak your mind. Bahamians, you need to do that and more. After you've done it, then you have to act on what you say. I always quote Article 24:1. Some people get upset with me about that, but that's constitutional. That's the authority you have to protect your interests. Don't leave it up to somebody else to do it. It will never get done. Now, I have to work along with you, Bahamians. I cannot do it by myself. Now, don't forget now, I want to start the prizes on Friday. So please send your donations in. You call into the station. You leave it with the operator. Say, I want to donate a prize to the show. You leave your name and your contact number. Put your cell number and your other number. Because I want to get you. Every single one, I will personally spend the time and call you and tell you how we can handle these prizes. Now, of course, 2 numbers I have. You can get me around the clock, 325-8652. 325-8652. And the other number, 465-5786. 465-5786. I want people in Grand Bahama to send me some prizes. I want people in Abaco to send me some prizes. I want people in the Family Islands to send me some prizes. All you do is call me. And I'm glad we have a system where I can call into the United States, into Canada, into England, and throughout the Bahamas for the same price every month. Unlimited calling. The only thing I don't like is when they keep interrupting me after an hour. That's the only thing that's stressful for me because I got to keep dialing the number again. I'm having a nice conversation and boom, phone stopped. They answer that yet for me. They always say, what else we can do for you? I say, keep these lines working until Christ comes back. That's the kind of service I want from the telephone company. So when I make that call, because I have to make the calls, I got to connect with the international community. This is serious business we have. And I got to connect with the Family Islands. And I want to be able to sit comfortably and do it. That's very important. So now don't forget now, I want you to start today sending your prizes in, making that call, giving it to the operator, or calling me directly and say, Professor, I have a prize I want to donate. So we can start these prize giving out on Friday. Now, don't forget, Friday is open line. And I want to put out 1 or 2 constitutional questions. And you must have a constitutional answer. Now, if you've been listening to the shows, I've been giving you all the constitutional answers. All you got to do is flip through the shows on Global Radio Network and Michelle's network. And you'll get the answers. You ain't got to look far. Because all of those answers are rock solid, constitutionally sound. We can't give you the prize if you ain't constitutionally sound. Now, if you come kind of close and you're the closest one, well, then we could probably say, okay, let him have that prize. We got to encourage our people. We got to have some cash to give out some cash prizes as well as dinner for 2. People may want to donate some haircuts. People want to donate some brochures, some food vouchers, $50 food vouchers, whatever. Send your prizes in because we're going to need them to give to the callers calling in on these constitutional questions. Your Constitution is your salvation document. You cannot survive without it, Bahamians. Some people think they could write all kind of crap on pieces of paper and say they're going to run things like that. No, it don't work that way. Not in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We've got thousands and thousands and thousands of precious Bahamian souls who want a better country. And I understand people outside who are Bahamians, they want to come back home. But I can prepare the way for them to come back home. Instead of building up them other people's place, come and build up the Bahamas. You heard the people here from Grand Bahama Port Authority. And Grand Bahama, I got to spend a week down there, so you know I can need your support. 1 full week, and I'm going to do the show from that end, back into the studio here. I got to see the whole island. I got to meet the people. I understand I got one big crowd down there. Famous, I can start working on that right now. But we need to do it. Then I want to go to Abaco. I want to go to them other islands as well. It's nothing like meeting the people face to face. Of course, you'll see me on the television screen. That's fine. And then I'll talk to you on the phone. That's fine. But then that person-to-person contact, face-to-face contact, very important. But we have to plan it properly. We have a beautiful country, a beautiful nation. We have good Christian people who go to church on Saturday and Sunday. Now we got to do something about all this funny music that be coming out when people having their Sabbath and when people go to church on Sunday. Because I know in my area that is a problem, but we can get that fixed. You can't have the people knocking all this crap 7 days a week, and we can't rest on the Sabbath, and then people who keep Sunday, they can't rest on their Sunday. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter
Hey,
Thompson.
well, you got it right. I love it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
call all
yeah.
my names.
I
Every
did
single
too.
one.
Every last one of them.
Every last one. Praise the
Excellent
Lord.
show. Excellent show. As
Thank you
usual.
very
But
much.
I
Thank you.
called with my little sidebar thing. I was watching while at dialysis today. I was watching on the big screen
Yes.
the conference that our Prime Minister and his delegation went to in Africa.
Yes, I
Right?
heard they went to Botswana.
Yes, and the president of Botswana, after he did his thing, and the prime minister, our prime minister, did his own, and it came in close to the question. I said, well, first of all, the president of Botswana really put brave them pants down.
Okay.
That you must be into your people. You must nurture, take care of your people. And I was too ashamed at that point, Professor Thompson.
That's what the man told him. The man
Yes,
told him that, right?
He was talking. I mean, he wasn't saying you brave, but you might as well say he was talking directly
The
to the
message was
Bahamian
for them.
delegation.
Yes.
He was talking to them.
Yes.
So you must love, care, nurture, everything for your people, right?
Yes.
I say, yeah, well, boy, I told him a little laugh at.
Yes.
And then question and answer period come. But I don't want to talk to this question was way out of reach, but I got to tell you what happened. The African reporter got up, he was the first one, and he asked Philip Brave Davis that every time he covers wherever Brave them go, like if they go in Africa and he's there,
Right.
say why every time y'all come, y'all only bring a bunch of man. Well, listen, I'm still on the ground, Sidney. The person who was chairing the meeting say, are there any other questions? Listen, me that patients could come to. I sort of wonder why you were asked Brave that. That's a weird question. Huh?
Didn't they open for questions?
Yeah.
Then what's wrong with the question?
But I don't
I see nothing wrong with the question.
I think consider what they go there for.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question again so the people could hear the question.
He asked Brave Davis. He noticed wherever he encountered them.
Yes.
Because he's an international traveler like that.
Right.
Say why? The only thing they is bring his man.
Yes.
Man, listen.
Well, it's a fair question.
You think so, man?
I see nothing wrong with that. All you had to do is tell him why you're bringing all these males with you.
All the time.
All the time. Yes. Answer the man and tell him, I'm bringing these males with me because of this. This is why I bring them.
Well, listen, you know how when you argue over the Bible, two people argue over the Bible, ain't nobody got no point. Everybody got their point. But that's
Yeah.
how brave, that's how the Prime Minister is out trying to answer that question.
Did he answer it?
He tried. He didn't do.
What did he say? Did you hear what he said?
He said there are 3 women with us, or 3 or 4.
Were the
He
women
said that
present?
One, yeah, I guess I'm Glennis Anna Martin.
Yeah, Glennis
maybe
Anna
one or
Martin
two
is there,
others.
yeah.
And he said that one was with them, but she wasn't able to attend.
Yeah.
And then they went on for another 20 minutes or 25 minutes. The different people they're speaking about the women that they employ into their party.
Right.
And here's 2 of his women right here taking notes, and I was too ashamed.
Yes. Okay.
Too ashamed. Okay, man.
Well, I'm glad you called to express that.
Yeah, man. All right, man.
Okay, good. See, even a person like me, I mean, you got to be prepared. People are going to shoot all kind of questions at you. Now, of course, in my case, I don't answer personal questions. That's not business. But the thing is that as a talk show host, you have to be prepared for any question people shoot at you. And you shouldn't get offended because they ask a question. They may ask you all kinds of questions. But you have to be honest and upfront with them. Answer the man. I know that you have a lot of males, but I don't call them men. I'll say males with you in your congregation. Why is that? Well, then tell the man why. That's a good question. I see nothing wrong with that. Another group may have a bunch of females. Look at all these females. I ain't calling them women. There's a difference between a female and a woman. There's a difference between a male and a man. Big difference. Because you notice when God created Adam, he created them male and female. And then later on, God talked about the man and his wife. So what happened? One time he created a male, and then he became a man. The man and his wife were naked and were not ashamed. That's what I read in my Bible. That's what the Holy Bible tells me. And the Holy Bible is always right. It is never wrong. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamians is always right. It is never, ever wrong. Do you believe that, Bahamians? That's why every word in that Constitution is important. When I said to someone, I said Article 24 talk about a whole lot of other things. But I zero in on that last phrase in Article 24:1. And then the particular personality wanted me to read the whole thing. I said, no. I'm only zeroing on this article, portion of the article. The articles have a lot of things in it, man. But you got to take it one point once. And I understand a lot of people out there quoting Article 24:1. That's the report that's come back to me. I love it. They're the Bahamian people talking about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's a wonderful thing. Now, these prizes, now, don't forget now, I counting on you who love Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. I expect to get some calls after the show because we need some prizes to put out for Friday. I'm going to put out 1 or 2 constitutional questions. Now, constitutional questions are not easy to answer. Ain't no easy street here. It's a lot of hard work and commitment. But if you go over those shows, they're on the website. And you got all the answers right there. Every question that I ask would be based on those shows. So all you got to do is look it up. And you quote it exactly as I gave it to you. Even if you didn't read the document, that's the answer. But you could check the document. But I do it for the woman in Baintown who got them 5 boys and the man in Foxville who got 6 daughters and the woman in Eggleston with 3 disabled children. They're so busy trying to survive, Bahamians. I got to help them. Are you, with your intellectual self, you could read it. I mean, you could do that. And let me just say this. Let me make sure I get it right. Those intellectually inclined personalities, they don't have it right either. They're dead wrong. I had to tell one that the other day. You are dead wrong. You're not constitutionally sound. They believe because of their high pollution with their education. See, God talked about them being fools, you know. Thinking themselves to be wise, they became fools. Because God is not in their knowledge. They reject God. And they brag among themselves. Who could have the biggest argument? Who got the most knowledge? Who got the most? Let me tell you this. Knowledge is no good unless it's applied. I am looking forward to the day when every single Bahamian citizen, genuine citizen, I ain't talking about them other people. They ain't no citizens at all. They will know this Constitution just as well as I know better, or better than me, better than the professor. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That's why I got to work so hard to teach it, Bahamians. You think this is wasting time, eh? You stay right there. We got a nation to save. Once you are constitutionally sound, the nation is in good hands. And I see God raising up some people. I know two in particular who say, Professor, I've been listening to for years. And they're very strong constitutionally, very strong. I invited one of them on this show. And I listened to him as he explained, accurate, precise, 100% accurate. I couldn't say nothing. But that's the way it's supposed to be, Bahamians. It's not just for one particular person. And then people die with all this knowledge in their head and means nothing to nobody. They ain't checking for that woman with those 3 disabled children in Angleton. Huh? And then people in Nassau Village. We have to help them, Bahamians. Please. And don't forget the prizes now. I remind you about it because I want to start on Friday. I don't tell you I can be here all this week. Every day this week. When I make a commitment to do something, I do it. I know some of you have some misgivings about some things, but some things have to be sorted out. And as they're sorted out, I can tell you. But the point is, we need a nation under God, under the rule of God, under the authority of God. And Dr. Miles Monroe told them, bring your Bible to the House of Assembly. How many of them bring their Bible? And don't make any law that's contrary to the written word of God. There's all kinds of funny things they pass. So we're going to need a constitutional committee which will examine every single law in this country to see whether it's constitutionally sound. That means that's the only way you can know. You can't take their word on nothing. Not them. And then we can make the appropriate corrections to these statute laws, which they lay on us. Huh? What they get from them other people in another place. Huh? And people say they didn't know any better. I'm vexed that I had to wait 50 years. I waited 50 years for the Bahamian people to wake up. I'm vexed with nobody. But they just weren't ready. I can't move until the people be ready. Grand Bahama people, you got to get ready now because I got to come down there. I want to spend a week down there. So I'm telling you that now. I need your support to make this happen. I won't come today and then go tomorrow. Can't wait like that. At least 1 week. If you're extra generous, you could give me 2 weeks. But I heard what the people say in Grand Bahama Port Authority. I got to get down there and get to know those people in all those different settlements. Visit with them, talk with them, communicate with them, broadcast from down there on this radio station. They have a setup down there. And they say the infrastructure is there. We need that kind of infrastructure in the Providence. We got some things we need to wake up. But we can get it fixed because God is raising up a new crew of people to run this country God's way. Don't worry about these other fellas. They ain't gonna be around. God will move them out of the way and make way, as Dr. Miles Monroe saw it, a new generation of people. People who are faithful and loyal to God, not to the UN, not to the United States, not to Haiti. We can help the Haitian people. We're going to help them by helping them to establish the institutions for a democratic, sovereign state. Now, they say they want it led by Haitians. We ain't going to worry about that. We got to communicate. We got to have meetings. We have to have lectures. Because they don't know nothing about no constitution. They say they have a constitution, but they all broke up. They don't follow their own law. And that's the problem, Bahamians. You keep fighting and knocking down one another and killing up one another. Everyone they elect, drop him his head off. What kind of nonsense is that? 1804, right on up to the day in 2024. And they ain't get it right yet. But they say they want a Haitian-led thing. That's fine. You can work with that. We got to help them, Bahamians. We can help them because of the example that we have set from 1729 right on up to this day. We can show them how to have successive administrations without firing one single shot to change it. You see the House of Assembly right there in Parliament Square? You ain't seen no bunch of police around there. I've been there several times. You could go right in. Pass the door and you go right in. We want to keep it that way, Bahamians. That House of Assembly building is an historic building. That's where the Parliament sits and meets in peace and tranquility. Come on, Bahamians. We don't want no bloodshed around here. The people want to break up the building. They break up the jail. What kind of nonsense is that? So it's most important that people understand this is our contribution to the stability of the nation, our example, the light. The city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. And the Bahamas is that city. We've been shining that light from 1729. The international community ain't see it. They're so busy looking for foolishness and nonsense and crap. And then won't blame the Bahamian people. We have to tell our own story. Don't let them write nothing for you. You tell them the way it is. This is the way it is in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And God protects the Bahamian people. Don't you ever forget that. Why, I don't lose all that time? Why? I got 3 more minutes. Okay, I can use that. Now, I want to tell you about the prizes. Now, don't forget, Bahamians, I'm looking for those prizes. Start calling today. Call the producer right here. He'll take your name and number and say, I got a prize for the show. Please call and get those prizes going. And then you could call me after the show, 325-8652. 325-8652, 465-5786, 465-5786. The lines are working well. So we ain't gonna have no more problem with that because I don't tell them I want the lines working till Christ come back. So we have to do that. So Bahamians, they need your support. You say you love Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. Well, I can prove it to the hilt. And I will be fair and honest and upfront with you with information over these live microphones. Not everybody have this privilege, you know. Now, a couple of us will have it. But we got to use it wisely. My job is to educate you so we can have a better country and we can help Haiti. We can show them how to do things constitutionally, and you got to abide by the result of the election. Don't go around and kill the man after you done elected. What kind of crap is that? That's nonsense. This has been Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. I'll be on tomorrow. As usual, I have a special guest tomorrow, Lady Philippa Russell. She'll be on. And then, of course, I have a guest for Wednesday, another special guest, Dwayne Hyler. He'll be here in studio. And then I'm going to get one for Thursday. Now, Friday is my day. That's open line. This has been Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. Thank you very much for participating and have a pleasant afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.5 Global FM, your number one source.